Whoop. Well, hey, we're rocking and rolling. Hi, folks. Nick Tuckert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. We are really sorry we're coming so late. I had the glory of having my truck break down and have to get a tow. It's been a night of nights. Before we get into too much, I am going to have to say the Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by the Simple Sword and the Fighting Axe, both available through Amazon at www.amazon.com/authors/Nicholas Tuckert. Folks, wow, has it been a night. I know I probably won't, got a bubble. I probably won't catch many of you because I said it would be late and it didn't get shared. So I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of what I do to set up a stream on the stream so the people who come in can at least see it. Let's see. Boom. What I'm doing right now is normally I share it. I'm using my high-tech, totally not just bouncing around from another system to get that shared so that I can bring to you the best stuff. And we have comments. Stream time. Hello, Thesis. Yes, hey, Thesis. Glad to see you. I'm sorry the little watch icon didn't come up. Yeah, it has been one of those days, folks. So please share this. Like I said, normally I get all this stuff going, but we literally just cut. Oh, thank you for the mention of the haircut. Yeah, I had to get my ears lowered, and it revealed a whole lot more of the gray. But it works. You guys seem to like it, and yeah, thank you for your patience. I know it is really rare for me to be late or to miss a week, and I try not to. And outside my neurologist, the power steering went out in my car, and my wife, who was driving, got it parked safely despite the car not steering. Hi, Cindy. So then I got to go in and deal with well, you don't go into a neurologist for happy things, folks. But I went in to deal with that. I changed my lighting. Tell me if you like it. If it's a little much, I can turn it back down. But I have an alternate light source. I am missing desperately my yellow sunglasses, but we're gonna make it. Good evening, Flying Feline. Good evening to everybody. So, honestly, my brain has been wiped by the complete massacre of plans that befell today. So I am just trying to get my feet on the floor and get things going. Please, I am fighting the algorithms, especially with me being slightly off. They will punish me. I am actually incredibly pale normally. And my lighting is, let me see. Let me tune that a little bit. Well, it's Gestraba. Well, Sydney. Woo. And there went my. Okay, you know what? Stop sharing. Let's see if this. I don't know if you can still hear me. My net is glitching, or is it my computer? Okay. Chrome tanked. Lovely. Well, let's see. I should be live right now. And whew. Let's see. Okay, cool. I was getting no feedback on mine, so I actually had to go onto YouTube. Hi. No, it really is just that's the difference, folks. I'm using the same built-in camera that came with my Lenovo all-in-one. And my mighty lighting system here, I will show you. Hold on. Is just one of these guys, but it is delightfully, it really does put out a lot of light. Sorry about the brief flash, Cindy. But let me try something clever. No, it won't let me be clever, but we can work with it. I'm glad it's crisper for everybody. We had, like I said, we had some problems, so I'm trying to keep everything hopping and popping as I normally do. And today just isn't normal, so this will probably be a relatively short broadcast. I'm down about a pint and a half from the doctors wanting their blood tax. And I just hope that the medical vampires that have my needs are all over it. Let me see. Get rid of this. I have no idea the meaning of the word Gesfraba, but I'll go for it. You know. Let's see. Reminds me of the time Foxy and I were way back at a tire. Literally, yeah. Um, I didn't actually. Yeah. It is funny because we missed several wrecks on the way back that we got to ride in the tow truck, and Joey's Towing out of Lafayette, Indiana, is a wonderful service. I'll get their broadcast because yeah, it was $2 to get back, which is expensive, but I can't really complain. He was quick, he was courteous, and we all got to ride up in the nifty tow truck, so I really enjoyed that. Um, yes, yes, Foxy. Yes, Feline. I'm sorry. Yes, I did get a haircut a couple weeks ago actually, but I normally broadcast in a hat or head rag thing. It's like a neck gaiter that I use, just because I tend to get a little warm in here. But yeah, we are right back where we're supposed to be on a Friday night, at least for a little while. Enjoying the loving contact of each other. Hope you guys have been looking into drilling and sword fighting. I am considering a fairly hefty purchase of either a manual crank forge, because Joe Bachman gave me a kit of a beautiful uh, a beautiful propane forge, and I would love to get back into forging, but I'm sort of a purist, so I'd love to get a crank charcoal forge, but I have to hold all that off till some tests come back, and I'm basically facing some stuff that may explain and redefine what I'm capable, what I'm medically capable of doing. You got longtime viewers know it's been an ongoing fight, and I'm doing the best I can with what I have, which is why I was down at a prominent neurologist. Well, uh, getting set up for more exams and losing blood. So enough of that. That's depressing, and I don't really care to get into that. There are some things I want to talk about before we go. First off, if anybody remembers, hi Frog G, what I was trying to talk about last week for this week, hit me up, because with all the excitement, it has slipped right out my ears. But I do want to talk about a few things. And I'm doing my pre-work, because normally I sit down about an hour before the broadcast and I look into all the things that are coming down and what's going on. I am rather. Oh, that's interesting. Let me see if I can get that to work for you guys. This may glitch. Of course, I'm having technical difficulties whenever I have other difficulties. Boonk, boonk, boonk. I love fighting books, and Shillelagh, the Irish fighting stick, looks interesting, especially with the deal of the day price of $12.50. That might be something I get into. I know this light looks better, but without my sunglasses, it's causing a bit of a eye headache, migraine. I don't know. Just sitting here stabbing me. So we're gonna dial that down. I know it doesn't look as good, but it's experimentation, folks. But yeah, this is a great time to consider some things, and part of it is, what do you want to study to practice next year? The mighty stick. Anyone who's been following Shadversity and his mildly offensive videos on stick fighting uh, knows that the stick is the source of all trainers, and I do love a good stick. Who doesn't love a good stick, folks? But thank you, Cindy. And yeah, I may be getting some new medicine to help with the brain aches and everything else. It's one of those kind of scary, maybe expensive, possibly doomy materials are rattling down the line, and I'll get it more into that in more uh, intimate circles. I don't think I need to put all my medical stuff out all the time. But speaking more intimate circles, to those of you who know, I do have a Patreon, and I've started a new weekly. Oh god, I got nailed. A new weekly blog where I will be talking about everything going on behind the scenes, called Cyber Tacto. Tacto being the sense of communication you get from two blades making contact. Uh, Read your Destreza; it's good stuff. But in there, I'm talking about some of the more in-depth plans for this and related materials, because everything I sell, I know occasionally I talk about my games or the fiction I write. I tend to take the money I earn there, and that's how I offset with the Patreon stuff the ability to afford to keep going. Johnny Cage. Oops. Hold on. Oh, what up, Luke? Hey. Y'all, it's been a night. It has absolutely been a night. Sticks are great incentive for animals to go where they should. See, I will go farther than that. And Luke, I was just plugging your channel on Rising Tide Broadcast Network because loud music and classic comics need to be discussed. But what? Oh God, guys! I know I'm brain fried. That happens whenever I go see the sort of doctors who are like, "Oh, by the way, track this small object." Um, we have stuff to talk about, and I will be going like, "Wow, I'm all over the place tonight." Okay, I'm going to be talking very soon about a lot of the stuff that's coming down the pipe. I want, for example, there may be commercials on here, but there'll be commercials for my stuff or possibly related sponsors. I'm working on figuring out that aspect of, oh, God, Cindy, you know the pain. But to get more interest and to help build up both people I support and things that work for me. So you'll be hearing a lot about the big stumpy robots in the future if all goes well. More books are coming. There's just really good stuff. And yes, I am completely scrambled tonight, but that's okay. That's what happens when you're stranded in a car in the cold for a while after med exams. It's fun, folks. I also normally don't do a lot after a blood draw because, hey, they've taken my life force and put it in a centrifuge for study. I probably should take that more seriously than I do, but hey, you know, yes. I am so sorry because I know you understand, Cindy, and I don't want to alarm folks, so because it's stuff that's only being tested for, I probably won't get into it. I want to rise above. Because, folks, even when bad stuff happens, even medical stuff, don't feel bad. I started the show very late today because I was broken down alongside the road and we had to get towed. Whole adventure. Great fun, and I love tow trucks. I think they're very cool. But getting back on. Yes. So there's going to be some stuff. I want to shoot some shorts, and I'm really thinking of launching a series of shorts on YouTube if you guys think there's interest in that. Now, I value the opinion of my Patreon above just about anybody who doesn't have my last name. And then I value the chat next level. Since most of you are awesome enough to overlap, that means you double dip. But hi, Triff Steve. Normally we talk about swords and self-training. I'm coming into tonight's video both late and discombobulated because I had some medical issues followed by my car having to be towed, and I don't normally have my schedule thrown off this much. So this is a very abnormal kind of video. What I normally do is I plug my things. Welcome to the Historical Fencing Guild. The simple sword and the fighting axe are the best way to learn Western martial arts from plain English. But and then I review trainers and books and other items devoted to folks who want to learn martial arts, sword-based or other weapon-based martial arts, usually of more Western traditions, because that's where I have a comfortable level of expertise. And we talk about adaptation so that people with physical limitations, like myself, can continue. Oh, absolutely. Triff, yes. We normally talk swords. I specialize in reviewing trainers. So basically, if you're learning to sword fight, you need tools that are safe to work with. So what I've done over the last few years is I've bought up things like bucklers. Let me see. We got axes, daggers. Whoops. Assorted swords. Some I've helped have input in the design of. And what we're supposed to be doing on a normal Friday night is chatting what works, what doesn't. How can we as practitioners, as swordsmen, swords ladies, sword people, move forward? But it's also, I believe in plain English and I believe in tongue-in-cheek delivery. We should have fun doing this. And because I work with people with physical, mental, and psychological handicaps, so I've taught someone who's blind how to sword fight. I've worked with people with severe rheumatoid arthritis. I myself currently rock peripheral neuropathy, carpal tunnel, cobital tunnel, and they're looking for new things to add to the expansive list of glory. But the problem is when you read the historical manuals, they are usually written in a very high speaking tone with complex vocabulary based in the period. And there's a lot of assumption that stuff going in. Oh, I am so sorry. I tend to speak quickly when I am excited. Alrighty. So let me pull it back down. Well, what we do, like I said, is we teach from a very basic level. The Historical Fencing Guild, may I ask what your native language is? Oh, I just dropped all sorts of things all over my place. That's typical. If you are able to read English comfortably, I do recommend the Simple Sword. I have not translated it into any other languages, but you may really want to look into it if you want to learn to sword fight. If not, you can follow through. I have videos. I have videos that basically go through the stances, how one stands and holds himself when they're sword fighting. Are they defensive? Is the blade back? Are they using an object? Are they offensive? Is the blade presented forward? How to move? How to work in units? All of it's broken down step by step very plainly. But I get excited when I'm doing this, so sometimes I speak too fast. Thank you. Okay, this is what I want. I want to be of service. I want to help people. That's why I keep my manual as cheap as Amazon will let me. Oh, wonderful. Never hesitate to correct or request me to slow down or to repeat things because I'm all about being here. And it's awesome. I love when we have international viewers. Um, like I said, this is a very non-standard video just because of some of my real life incidents kind of mixed it up. But that's also part, I think, of why we come together to do this, because I don't believe in hiding when things go wrong. And is there a style you're interested in, Trev? I would love to know. I would love to be able to help, because part of what I do is I help people find styles that interest them, weapons that fit their body. So a lot of what we end up doing is teaching people how to uh, measure. You want your sword, your blade shouldn't be longer than your outstretched middle fingers to. Let me get back a bit to here. Okay, to your center line. You don't want to go much longer than that because it becomes difficult to draw. It also, the longer the blade goes, the harder it is to fight indoors. I also have a very knowledgeable chat. So the folks in the chat usually know most of what they're talking about. And yes, sometimes sometimes we help translate fast, Nick. Also tell them about the Facebook group. Yes. Okay. First off, there is a Facebook group. It is a Historical Fencing Guild -public, and it has a little boot. I believe it's a logo or a shadow of me on grass. It's very calm, easy to find. The link should be below in the description. If not, somebody can throw it up here and it will show up. Absolutely. I've spent the last 20 years giving lectures and teaching people the basics of historical fencing, ranging from the Middle Ages through the Renaissance and into the 18th century. Thank you. Now, I do have a couple speech impediments, which sometimes make me stutter and stammer. That's why when I get excited, I talk so fast to get around them. It didn't come up in YouTube, but if it gives me a chance to fix it, I will. Thank you, Cindy. I don't have the complex version, but yes. No. We literally teach people how to sword fight. The Historical Fencing Guild is all about learning the basics of swordsmanship so that you can either stay here or you can study outside historical manuals or other systems. What I wanted to do when I formed this was to make an organization where people could interact. So we would get people who learn to sword fight through Aikido or Kendo, and they want to talk to somebody who's a Western fencer, a classical fencer. Maybe they fight longsword. And what I did is I wanted to set up a basis where the different groups could come together and just talk, just sort of facilitate cross-style training and discussion, and so that new people could sort of have, for lack of a better phrase, a fencing elementary school where they could learn the basics of a simple style that would work very practically for just about anyone. And from it, they could build their style out and then have the understanding of how they move. And, let's see. Now, we do make a lot of jokes. There's a lot of humor here because I don't like dry, excessively superior presentations. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, this is a great... Whoops, I clicked and it went. Okay. Here we go. So what are you teaching? It's different art. Early Middle Ages, late Middle Ages, Asia. These are all different fencing schools. Okay, let me address that. What I have done over 20 years of study is I have read dozens of different styles and different schools. And what I did was I looked at what all of them seemed to agree on, or almost all of them. And I realized that that gives a very fundamental base that can translate between styles readily. So, because, and this is really a great thing to talk about. If I take something like this is, whoops, a kukri, and I need to move a joke prop here. Okay. And the elbow of a downward strike with any weapon, okay, is going to be the same for anybody. It's exactly the same, uh, you know, an Indian Sherpa in a downward cut like this is going to be exactly the same as a German fighting with a Messer. You're going to have the same kind of cut. So what I did is I took and I kind of distilled a whole bunch of styles, most rudimentary concepts, into a single style that I call the simple sword that people can learn that can then be, oops, let me just fix this. We're having some, there we go, be adjusted. So we all learn this, and it gives a Rosetta Stone of terminology, and a basis so that people can all work together to learn the basics. Okay. Let me explain. I only demonstrate with plastic trainers. This is a polypropylene. Let me show you. Plastic trainer. It is completely blunt. Okay. There are no edges. I use only safe equipment here. Very rarely there are times where I mention that I'm doing something with live steel for discussion, and I'll show it, but nothing I am using when I gesture or I suggest training for this purpose is sharp. Oh, well, yeah, thank you. No, and that's actually part of what I do. There are a lot of people who review live steel swords. Very few people review sword and knife trainers. And very few people compare the different retailers. So what I do is I buy trainers solely for the purpose of review. And then especially lower cost, low end trainers, and the ones that I really like, that I find are quality, I talk up. The ones that I dislike, which is rare but does happen, I'll tell you why I dislike them. You know, you're always free to disagree with me, and as long as it's civil. Oh, I actually, unfortunately, many people end up paying the blood tax for handling live steel. And I'm sorry that happened to you, but I'm glad. Oh, I fully understand. The other thing that you need to know is I may come off a little odd. My specialty in training has been people with disabilities and people who have endured certain types of trauma. For example, I've worked with many women who are rape survivors. I've worked with many people who are suicide survivors. I've worked with some men who are rape survivors. And so I tend to be very much about building the confidence and competence so that folks can be better and really get forward and move. So yes, safety is absolutely paramount. And yes, my setting is a little tongue in cheek. And yeah, Foxy says, we all have our young and stupids, my friend. Me, in short, referring that we've all made mistakes in our youth. My hands beneath these things are covered in scars. In fact, part of the reason I have to wear braces and other things that aren't quite as revealed is because of mistakes I made in my youth. So I try to train people to understand things like calibration, or when you're training with a given sword trainer. So let me get another trainer out. Where did Sting go? Sting, well, here. What do we got here? Okay, we'll grab this. How hard you hit is is calibration. So I talk about what weapons to purchase. I talk about what weapons one can make, how to make so-called boffers, which are padded training weapons. We talk about fencing weapons. So I have things like this. This offhand is a 30-inch fencing. It's a saber style rig with a Schlager or Messer, but it's more Schlager, Monsieur. I can't have trouble. Messer style blade. But what I distilled, and I don't mind showing you in my manual, is the basic body motions. So when we're talking, and I'm sorry, my personal copy is beat up because I train people. I use stick figures and other means to convey the easiest way to learn the basics. I don't come out and say this will make you a master of the fine art of swordsmanship, because people who feed that kind of ego-based instruction usually are lying. But what I can tell, this will make, if you follow what I do, you can follow my parameters. You can do it safe, you can do it fun, and you can learn from something. No. Absolutely. I'm not offended. I don't really try to cult anybody because it's not a an ego thing at all. I just like helping people. I was part of an organization. Oh no offense. I understand how it can look sometimes, and how many people come on very superior and better. And no, let me rewind. I started fencing to deal with some trauma that I went through. I was brutalized. I was beaten. I went through some very bad places. I had a lot of anger, and I decided I wanted to learn to control it, not give in to it. So I started fencing, and I do have a pathological problem with bullies. And I was training under someone who would decide that this person is going to do very well. And I'm not going to bother with these people because maybe they're not fit, or they have physical limitations, or in some cases, their color or gender or religious background. And I believe that martial arts, like all art, is for everyone who wants it. So what I've done is I worked with the students at the time that he would disregard. And I found myself being more comfortable helping the people that had trouble finding help other ways learn how to sword fight. I don't charge for it. I only charged one guy, and that was gas money because he wanted a special thing held at his house. I keep my books. This is 20 something because I used color, and that's literally as cheap as Amazon will let me print it. The file size dictates the cost on at my store. That's why it's all relatively cheap. This one is much cheaper because I found out that I could write a book about how to the basics of using an axe in a very short format and keep it cheaper on the consumer. It's really about helping folks who want it. Okay, what can you tell us about fencing in the early Middle Ages? If you're looking fencing, the weapons were much more open, and they looked more like, you're going to look at things like arming swords. So an earlier period, this is based on, can you see this okay? This is based on the 1.33 manual. And because the guards were very cruciform, one-handed fencing didn't have the integrated protection. So let me go grab my buckler. Now, normally I do. Here we are. So what would customarily be done with one-handed fencing? Now, when I speak fencing, I'm usually leaning more towards the thrust-oriented, not quite as cut, although we'll get into some people like Meyer, although there are people who prefer it. Now, I personally prefer a late period swordmaster by the name of Nicola Gigante, and his book, The Soleil, is probably my favorite. I do like George Silver's works, and I'm a huge fan of Destreza, which is Spanish fencing. My personal style kind of folds a lot of this together. But when you have an open weapon like this, and you're going to have to bear with me, I recently have had a tremendous loss in my ability to hold on to things due to nerve damage. So I'm having to adapt my own style to work around that and that of my equipment, which I think is fair. I've helped other people for this. You close it up. And the nice thing about fighting like this is it's going to close your middle road. Okay, so when you're fighting with one sword, you have basically 4 quadrants you have to block. High outside, low outside, high inside, low inside. Now, my grip, of course, is not perfect nor appropriate because I'm gripping around medical braces. Oh, shit. Well, okay, that's interesting. You're talking about this case. This is a case of history repeats itself. This is a medieval buckler. Okay, it can also be called a center boss or a round shield. Very often, the size would dictate its use. Now, this is not to be confused with the later rotella, which is round but is strapped like a shield. Think Captain America's shield for comic book fans. Now, this could be fought in a very dynamic fashion if it's large enough. But because this is a small buckler, it traditionally would be fought presented, okay? So you would have the buckler out to give you a larger zone of defense because it's only blocking my shoulder to my forearm. You're noticing I'm keeping the buckler when I pull it back slanted. This is deliberate to deflect. I don't want to oppose straight unless I'm out and I have it parked. Now, the neat thing with the center boss is as you're fighting, the center boss can dynamically adjust very quickly to give a mobile adjustment of protection. So you keep the defensive face flipping to be where it needs to be. Now, it's hard for a small buckler to be couched properly as a large shield, but due to the weather where I am right now, I don't have a lot of room to go into my larger shields. But if you go through some of the sparring videos, you'll see a lot more of that. But presented and closed, you can... Sorry. There is a lot you can do. Okay? But when you're fighting, you still need to protect your hand. So very often, there are a lot of strikes where the buckler is either engaging and deflecting to free up the sword or closing your middle road. Because right here, coming up under the weapon guard and up through the middle, is one of the most common ways to kill somebody. Wait. This is a Hungarian cavalry shield. You shouldn't be fencing with him. Okay, if you're dealing with a cavalryman, and that's a problem. A lot of different cultures used round. Let me make sure. But you're holding the shield of the early mid. That is the Hungarians did use a small buckler like that, but they're not the only ones. And yes, the round shields they were transformative in that there are larger ones and smaller ones. Because I'm filming in a very small room, I don't have access to my larger shields to give a full demonstration on that. I should be fencing with it. Sword fighting versus fencing. We may be running into a mild linguistics thing here. We're still going through the blows. Now, what you have is you have two basic types of attack from a one-handed weapon. I'm going to switch to something shorter. I know this is not a proper weapon for what we're doing, but I want it to show up on camera better, and I have limited race. So I'm going to use a main gouge. This is a modified main gouge. It's been spray painted orange, and it was put out by Cold Steel Armory. Okay. Now, there are two basic types of attack. You have a thrust, and you have the assorted cuts or blows. Now, a draw cut is one that breaks off. A push cut is one that slides. A standard blow or cut. The small round shield, well, my English is still bad, but the small round shield is. Yes, they were very popular among cavalry. But cavalry do get dismounted. And that's when the one-on-one. Now, I don't just fixate on single combat. We talk about group combat. We talk about skirmishes. At points, we've even gotten into discussions on line command. I have people who are reenactors who I can bring up who've done, I'm trying to bring them as guests who have commanded lines. But that the Hungarians aren't the only people to use a small center boss. Let's look that up. Let's look that up and see what we're talking about. Exactly. Right now, my space constraints of where I'm able to film during the winter are fairly limited. Let's go Hungarian. No. Let's look up what exactly you're talking about. Hungarian cavalry shield. Boom. Images. Now, see, this is interesting because the shields. Let me. Before I do this, I am not necessarily. I don't own the rights to this. I'm just doing a basic YouTube style search, and I think I should be fine showing the let's see, exit solo out. Yeah, here we go. All right, now this is late period, so it's not a round shield, but it is considered public domain. No. Wait. I'm sorry. I think there's some confusion going on here. Let's look at this. Well, wait. If you are the head of a sect, there's no point in arguing with me. If you're a history professor, I'm still wrong. I just want to understand and talk to an interesting person. Well, no, I'm trying. Please don't think I'm trying to be combative. I'm trying to understand. I have studied history in college. I have history is one of my primaries in my Bachelor of Liberal Studies. So I'm moderately well informed. I've spent 20 years practicing Western martial arts and studying somewhat. I can't always bring it all facts of all eras immediately to mind. That's why we have the tools. But we're always here for the conversation. If you are concerned about my validity or what I'm trying to say, first off, you are free to seek information elsewhere. You can also look into this channel. I've been putting out videos for several years now, and you will be able to vet me to your interest. I hold I hold a live stream just about every Friday from 8 to 10 my time. This This could, this could be a translation thing. I have a specific speech pattern. I see, and this might be part of it. I do tend to focus more on late period fencing. So the earlier stuff, because I focus more on Renaissance and through the early 1800s, I can get into. I mean, this is very Talhofer era. But for that, I need to make sure I have my resources materials to reference and make sure I'm not saying anything out of tone. But still, having looked at the manuals, you will find the body mechanics are very similar. So that's where I came from, and I love it. If you have a position of knowledge on this, that's wonderful. Is there a style you're looking for specifically? I also am limited by the trainer simulations I can also, because like I have a very small fencing buckler right here that was handmade. This is a very light fencing buckler from very, very late period, but it works. A lot of it's how can I help be of service to you? And if I'm just entertaining as we sit and talk about swords, because a lot of times we'll talk about swords and pop culture, I'm all for that. Oh, great. Great. Cool. So as long as we understand each other, I think that's all very good. Let me see. I had a whole list of things I had planned to do this week, but we got derailed. So let me see. Let me see. We're going to go to my favorite retailer. And I'm going to see if there are any trainers that need, because if you are interested in this period, if you, the shield is very cool. Hold on. And please, hold on. Here we go. Whoop, let me just do that. Okay, this shield is a very cool shield. This is late period. This is from the Metropolitan Museum's collection, and it is considered public domain, which is wonderful because that means I can reference it without any liability issues. So YouTube, public domain. Strike feathers. See, this to me is fascinating. And yeah, thank you. Now, if you were talking about the shield I was holding earlier, let me just zap this and we'll go Purple Heart Armory. There we go. We'll go buckler. This is the whoops, I typoed that, but what I'm using, it's interesting that they're calling it the doll buckler. But this is the buckler I had in my hand. It is a very very useful, very sturdy, somewhat heavy training buckler that while not, there are many other styles of buckler, it allows a general simulation. And a huge amount of what we do is make a trainer that is oh that one. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Yes, this was handmade by a gentleman by the name of Dennis Yakus. It's a very simple wooden and leather studded buckler. Oh. And that you can get some like this, but this was a gift. He was one of my instructors back a long time ago. He's actually the best man at my wedding. And I don't see him much anymore, but I still prize this little buckler. This is a very everyday carry, late period personal defense kind of buckler. This would allow you, because when you talk about the realities of carrying a sword, Yes. Oh, CityCap shared the truncated link to Medieval Shields, but yes, this is a wooden base. Here, a risers and a simple grip, and then just studs to hold it on. Yes, leather and bronze rivets. It was an accompaniment when I was fencing with this being my triple my Spanish cup hilt style with the triple knuckle dusters. And this was a loadout, for lack of a better word, when I was in the group called the Society for Creative Anachronism. I'm no longer in that group so that I can help people who are in that group train with people who are outside that group. And I work with LARP practitioners, people who do the LARP to learn how to sword fight better. And I promote communication. I'm kind of more of a facilitator than anything else. And yes, this is one of my prized possessions. Actually, I quite love uh, this little buckler. So it's really nice to get to show it off a bit. But many of the trainers I use are either store bought, often from companies like Zen Warrior Armory or Triplet or Purple Heart Armory. Some are homemade if I can't find a trainer. So we have things like, hold on, like this. This is a cooking knife style trainer I made. Oh, no, not at all. You didn't ruin anything. Honestly, because of some things that had gone wrong in my real life off camera, for the first time in a very long time, I was running late to my own broadcast, and that almost never happens. Because I work with people who have physical limitations, I am very open about my own. So, for example, Cindy Kep, the nice lady, a little higher up in the chats than you, besides being an author and a creator, is a martial artist who has a background in fencing and does is learning assorted Chinese fan techniques, but also has physical limitations where she can't carry a lot of weight. For my grip has been damaged. So what we do is we talk about what holds us back, and see, Cindy's waving because we're a friendly lot, and we work around it. And to be able to have people feel comfortable to say, "Hey, I'm having trouble." I have in the past had trouble walking, so I've learned to fence with a cane and without a cane. I've learned to adjust the weapon styles for my mood and my situation. And what I was doing was kind of talking about where I was coming from before, because I believe in being very open. You'll notice I'm not running a funny name handle. I'm running my name, Nick Tuckard. I'm an author. I talk about the books because I want people to be able to learn. And when I wrote these books and when I started doing this, no one was doing it free. It was always very expensive. And again, it was very tailored. They expected, if you're learning to sword fight, they wanted you to be tall and fit, and they wouldn't bother with people who weren't. So that bothered me. So I just worked with a lot of people. Now, I work with some people. If you hang out here any length of time, you're likely to encounter John Miner in the lists. I know him back from my SCA days. And he's 6 foot lot, 6'4", 6'6", built like Hagrid from Harry Potter. Very large, very burly man. I fenced with him. I learned a lot from him. Oh, sorry. I got passionate again. And that was part of the problem. I went back to thinking like I was thinking before we came on, and I slipped back into a faster speech. But we work we work with a lot of people who have limitations, and for people to feel safe coming to me and saying I have limitations, it's only fair I talk about my own limitations. That way, they know they're welcome and that they're valued. And this chat that you're in, oh, Sidney kept translated his height to being most of 2 meters tall. Uh, just to tell you, I am sorry. I do tend to speak very quickly when I'm excited or passionate, and I'm trying to rein that in. But wow, we've actually been going for nearly an hour, folks. This has been a little odd, a little meandering, but at least I think it was fairly educational. Um, I do apologize for speaking so quickly, but I will try to catch that. Thank you, and I try. I try feline because it really is. I'm not. Yeah, I put out my Patreon, so if you want to help me afford to buy trainers, so that folks who couldn't afford training otherwise or want to know what it's like, uh, have that opportunity. And yes, I'm very, like I said, I'm very excited. I'm excited to be doing a live stream. And whenever I meet somebody new that maybe we can talk and have interest, can you talk about any one topic? All right. I have a little bit, and I do bounce around quite a bit, especially on days like this. What we're going to talk about then for a little bit more, because we're reaching the end. Um, I want you guys to consider looking into shorter trainers for winter training. So the styles I recently purchased, and it is out in the living room because I was actually drilling with it. One of these, so give me just a moment. Boom. Oh, the Bowie D Hilt trainer. Now, the reason I'm talking about why I'm suggesting this one, price wise, is it's sub $30, which is very inexpensive for a basic trainer. It's got a 20-inch blade. That's long enough that it doesn't feel like a knife in your hands, but it feels like a sword, and you're less likely to hit your walls, your ceilings, ceiling fans in a close environment. It The other nice thing of training with smaller weapons, I find, is it encourages um okay. I find it encourages uh faster reflexes and you to be more focused. So these are very close to becoming that gold standard that I'm looking for large group training. I like the price point. I like the shape. I can do it indoors. So I may actually put in a large order for these to do demos um, at different uh, conventions and folks. So we've got there. Maybe we're trying to iron out a library con where I'll be selling my books and the big stompy stuff. Oops. What? Oh no! 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 Okay. I don't know how. Let me fix this. Foxy, you got blocked. There's an error going on, and you don't. You're. How do I fix that? It won't let me fix that. Let me see if I can find a comment. Uh, Foxy, please don't take the short block to heart. That is a technical difficulty. In that I wasn't trying to do that at all. Hi, Triff, welcome back. But I also like the. So what is that? That's part. This is very reminiscent of a Cutto. This is a hanger, a late period, usually concussive sword. However, yes. So my apologies to Foxy for the technical error that booted her. Thesis, please let her know I am deeply sorry about that error. Yes, computers are evil. This is a very good entry point for small sword technology. It gives good hand protection, and it's a fairly. You will find a weapon roughly this style. If you, it's really easy. If you put a discard on it, it would be basically a wakizashi. If you widen the blade a bit, it's a dao. What you look for is a versatile, nearly everything style trainer, which I think this might be. So I'm going to try to to acquire enough of those that we can do. Where is that? Wow, she just got zapped. I am so sorry, Foxy. Why did it do that? What? Okay. So basically, there's some errors, and my computer system is really glitching and trying to block people. Oh yes. It is very close. So that is a weapon for a small place. That is a cutlass. Yes, very close to a cutlass. Oh, wow, Foxy. Mm, how do I? I'm going to have a bit of difficulty for a while. Let me see. That's not what I want. Sorry about that. I told you the. Oh, hold on, hold on. Yes, I'm so sorry. I am having severe. Add a moderator. Yes, you might have to go into your YouTube settings to unblock. Okay, listen to the frog keyboard. Yeah. Basically, there's a lot of errors coming up right now, so I'm going to have to probably call this video as I am getting pop-up warnings all over the place. And yes, it actually, death metal, Luke, it literally kicked me off of my own stream. That is the hilarity of when I run a live stream, folks. The systems go absolutely nuts. Now, it was supposed to be a 5-minute block. I'm hoping Here we go. What? No. Boom. Boom. What? Okay. That shouldn't. Foxy, I'm trying to stay on for. That was that. Enough time. When you can comment, please let me know that you can, because apparently this is a bizarre. Oh, good. Everybody's back. I am so sorry about that. I'm fairly new to using StreamYard, which I enjoy. Alrighty, but yes, the cuttos or the cutlasses are indoor weapons. They were developed to be able to fight in below decks of a ship. When you're taking a ship, you have to clear the top deck, but you still have to deal with the people inside the ship. So you need to be able to sword fight in a narrow corridor. Now, looking at the constraints we have, and I'm talking too fast again, and I'm probably going to get dinged for it. But, okay. Okay, Foxy Life. But the constraints we have, uh, yeah, you guys know Tech and me. Yes, I love a large blunt wrench, and that's one. I didn't know you were Navy, Frog. Respect. My dad was Brownwater Navy. I have one leg shorter. They didn't want to let me. Uh, but yes, that wasn't anything against you, Foxy. No, Foxy's one of my amazing Patreon members, so I certainly wouldn't block her. Uh, like even practical if I weren't a decent human being. But looking at shorter weapon styles like the short axes, like something like this, will allow you to do your drills. It will allow you to work in the confines of your home or garage or wherever you can find space. Right now, the white boot keep here is a bit of a disaster, and I'm working on it. But I think we'll be able to do more things. Now, if you like crafts and things like this and some armoring, assuming the camera I bought and I can get things to work, I'm hoping to be able to very soon do some videos either live. That's okay. Well, let me explain. To do what I do, I plug my wares. I don't really expect anybody to throw money at me, So that's okay. That is your choice. Uh, I'm in this to help people. That's what I'm here for. That's what I've been here for the last many years, and that's what I'll be here for very much later. So that's okay. And it's awesome. It's awesome that Frog's Navy. I dig that. Now, I could not serve in any branch. I have one leg shorter than the other, and a few other colorful ailments. But guys, this tonight has really been all over the place, hasn't it? But let's see. What do we want to talk about next week? Next week will be much more on topic. I want to go back over and check for new trainers out of PHA. Um, we need to go over some probably drill focus, and I had a request to go over the tools of the internal trainers. So how to take, if you go to uh, a thing called Benjamin Arms, you'll see. I write books, but I don't leave my readers my credit card. I do it because I like it. Okay. Like I said, I'm not trying to over promote or plug. I just have to put that out there because if I don't ask for support, people won't get it, and they like to know what I do. Um, what books have you written? I'm curious. And it's a passion. I travel in circles with a lot of authors and creatives, and like I said, I do provide all the in-person training I've done over the years for free. The books are literally to cover print costs. I do. That's actually why I was late to the broadcast. I have carpal tunnel. I have cubital tunnel, which basically means the nerves that work my hands don't work so well anymore. And I've spent a long time sword fighting, so I'm having to adapt how I teach and how I work and what I can do with what I physically can do. It's funny. I am late tonight coming back from a car trouble while visiting the doctor. Uh, and there are many people who would like me to stop doing what I do. Uh, but as long as I'm capable to use what I've acquired to help people maybe get some confidence, I'm not trying to make people into really super tough, I'm an awesome martial artist. I'm just trying to help people learn to sword fight, have a good time, and find out that maybe they can do more than they expect. So, like I said, Trev, really, I put out my ads because that's just part of how I keep doing what I do. Um, I I just appreciate good commentary, and I've been very tight, and I know my books can be found pretty easily through assorted pirated sites. I understand that's out there, and if that's the only way you can get to it, I understand that. Part of my contract is I can't put it out for free by my contract with Amazon, so I don't. But it's out there. Thank you, Foxy. I'm literally just trying to make it where it's not a financial strain to do what I do for folks. I mean, would I like more? Obviously. Who wouldn't? This has been an interesting video tonight, hasn't it, folks? We've gone over a lot of things that normally my format is much more structured, but it's interesting who you meet and what can bring people together, and I really like that. I do start and end my videos with the plugs because I believe my part of it is I can only instruct so many people in person. If I that's thank you, Luke, because I'm actually very sensitive. I donate my books to libraries so people can get at them for free. I just also know that my style of training is tied to me, and I understand that I don't want what I can offer people to necessarily die with me. So as my um okay, I mean that's if you think I'm something, and I realize I kind of got this black wall is just to cover up like my messy office behind me. And I mean, God, I suppose I do look kind of odd, but you just happen. Went to the doctor, and I always wear a short sleeve when I go to the doctor because I have to take blood. I really don't think the head of a sect. I don't think the head of a sect would be using a broken Xbox headset to to run things, but it's up to you what you take from this. It's up to you what you if you look the rest of the videos. And like if you are uncomfortable, that's the wonderful thing. The net is open and closed. You can go. I can recommend Sword Sage does wonderful videos if you want to talk about focus on Jin and Chinese. Many popular YouTubers like Scholagrim or Shadversity or Lindy Beige. Oh god, I lost the name of Matt Easton's channel. Scala Gladiatoria with Matt Easton. There are many high end, very educational, kind of clear cut channels I can recommend that are out there. No one is forcing you. Yes. I'm Russian. Don't pay attention. Okay, that might be a joke. Okay. Does that make me sexy? LOL frog. Yeah, there's good humor. There's good humor today. Now, guys, I will tell you I am suffering a bit of a headache, and that has nothing to do with the conversation or anything. It has to do with my I wasn't able to take my oh yeah, I just want to help. Okay. Well, guys, I'm sorry. It's looking like it's getting time for me to wind down because I have to take some medication. I'm diabetic and I have to take some. It's not insulin; it's metformin. But I will eat. I will take my meds. Thank you for being so caring. It's great to meet some new people, and the conversation has been very interesting. I will see you next week back at my normal time, hopefully. And so, guys, here's the deal. Be good to yourselves, okay? Be good to each other. Keep your guard up. Do your drills. And as always, folks, support your local sword master.